Good morning. How are we this morning? So, I want to start off today's video with a thank you because as of yesterday, I've officially reached 100 subscribers, which is awesome. All thanks to you guys, so I just want to say thank you. I've always dreamt of doing like this YouTube thing when I was younger, and now that I'm older and have more of the means to actually do it in my free time, it's awesome, and it's just super awesome to see that you guys are subscribed and that you are enjoying the content. So this just marks where Tanner is gonna put more work in. He's gonna work harder on bringing content for you guys, and that's how we're gonna start this off. Second thing, recently, I did some traveling with my wife to the great state of Minnesota. You are all lovely people, except the people that were in the Mall of America where we at. Mostly tourists, I understand that, but they were all awful people because they were rude and always bumping into everybody. Anyway, while we were traveling through Minnesota, let me shut this before I forget. While we were traveling, because we went to see the Mall of America, because my wife, she'd never been there before. I haven't been there since I was a wee child. We went there, and there was, I forgot what the store was called, but it was like travel something. It was basically a bag store. And so I had to go in there, being the lover and fan of backpacks that I am, and I found this bag right here. This is the Pacsafe Vibe. I think it's the Vibe 100 or the Vibe 125. It's one of those Vibe 1 things, and it's a 10-liter shoulder bag, and I thought, it's awesome, I have to have it. And then I got it, and I got home, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm gonna put in this thing, because yes, it's a 10-liter bag, but it's a very slim profile bag. And so thinking about what I was gonna put in here, I came up with the perfect idea. In this bag, I have the perfect mobile creator workstation. Now, emphasis on mobile because this is all based off of Apple's ecosystem. So I'm sorry for anybody that is triggered or whatnot by this being Apple only. I know a lot of you are Apple fans because even when I did the Galaxy Fold video, there was a lot of you that said, it's cool, but I like my iPhone better, which is perfectly fine. This isn't judging anybody. I'm just putting a disclaimer in there. This is all possible because of Apple's ecosystem, how they all talk to each other beautifully, and there probably is a Android, Microsoft, Samsung, whatever version out there. Is that maybe that's a video you guys would want to see in the future? Put it down in the comments if you want to see it in the future. I can try and make that happen. But yeah, I thought this is going to be an awesome mobile workstation. Like if you just want to get out of your house, you've been working on stuff all day, you need to edit some video, do some photos, maybe you run an e-commerce business, something like that. So this is kind of what I thought of to be the perfect way to put all that together. So we're going to head back into the house and check it out, and I'll show you what's in here and how I turn it into the ultimate mobile workstation. So, another reason that I created the Ultimate Creator Workstation bag is because maybe you don't want to take your whole backpack with you every day. I mean, I don't know about any of you guys. My current bag, the everyday backpack from Nomadic, is a 25-liter bag. So it's not a ginormous bag. Like the previous version of this bag that I'm using right here was a 35-liter bag. So it lost 10 liters going to 25, but still, 25 liters is a lot to carry around sometimes. And if you don't need the whole thing, why bring the whole thing with you? So, the point of this bag, because it's such a small and convenient bag, is that you don't have to take the whole bag, the whole shebang. You don't have to try and fit the whole desk in here. You just need a couple things. So we're gonna open it up. So the main workhorses of my setup, because I was inspired by this because I was looking through some of my old videos I got the email from YouTube about the 100 subscribers. So I was just looking through some of my old videos, and I just noticed my desk setup from, I think, a couple years ago, and I had the 2 monitors. I loved having 2 monitors, but when I moved into my new house, I wasn't feeling the 2 monitors anymore. Do I miss the 2 monitors? Yes. I plan to have 2 again one day, but that's all for future stuff that we're not going to get into because I'm getting off track. But there's this super cool thing that Apple does between a Mac and an iPad, which is called Sidecar. It's all wireless, and you can basically turn your iPad into a second display from your MacBook, which is awesome. So, main workhorses of our system, we have a MacBook Air. I also have my iPad Air with the keyboard case and the Apple Pencil. And then also in this compartment, I have some adapters and SSD. And I also have this Anker Go Magsafe battery. And then in this bag, I have my AirPods, a bunch of cables, and my charger. And then when everything's out of the bag, I also have a hero clip on it so that you can just take the hook out of your hero clip and hang your bag from the table so you don't have to put it on the floors of wherever you're at. Now, this isn't very much stuff on here that makes this whole thing work. It's mostly just a bunch of cords and adapters and stuff. But I'm going to show you how to set up the perfect workstation. Let's get started. Okay, so you have your 2 machines right here. We're not going to open them up yet. We're going to start by getting everything powered. So we have our power brick of choice. I think this is the Anker Nano 735. This is my newer one that has the 2 USB-C ports and the USB-A port. So that's super helpful. So then you're going to take your MagSafe cable for your MacBook, and then you're going to take a regular USB to C cable for the iPad, and that's how you're going to plug both of those in. So, and just with the magic of video editing, just like that, we have our cables plugged into our charger, and then we have our MagSafe and our USB-C. So let's get this plugged in and our workstation powered up. Okay, so we have our 2 workstations. I have it open up on here. So the next thing I'm going to add is this little adapter right here. This is the Hyperdrive iPad Air adapter. It has a HDMI port, it has a USB-A, a USB-C, and a headphone jack. Is it necessary? Not really, but I'm just going to install it right here onto the iPad. Again, it's not super necessary because the Sidecar works wirelessly, but I just like to have it just so we have the extra ports and we have all that good stuff. I'm messing it up here. It has a bracket on it that goes in between the front and the back of the iPad, and with the case, sometimes it gets stuck, so all that aside. On the cable situation, I also have a 6-foot Lightning to USB-C cable. I basically just keep this because I still have iPhones in my bag. So you can just have that with you, or you don't need to use it at all. That can just stay in your bag. And I also have a smaller USB to USB-C cable, mainly because for our SSD, I normally would like to use the cable card. I've had it for years. I've made multiple videos with it in it or about it. But the only reason that I excluded it from this video is because I've started to notice that my Apple devices do not like the cord in the cable card when I've put adapters and stuff on it to make different cables. So I still keep it just because mainly I need the micro USB in there to charge my camera that I keep in my main bag. But normally in this situation, I would love to use the cable card, but the Apple devices don't like the cord, so that's why I bring another USB-C to C cable. So at this moment, we're gonna actually do the Sidecar. So if you go on your MacBook you're gonna go up here to the control center, just gonna open it, and then right here on this display, there is a computer option right there. So you're just gonna click it, and right down there you can see it says Tanner's iPad to link keyboard and mouse. So you just click that. So the displays are now linked. So this is one way you can do Sidecar. So I can now go over to the iPad and use my iPad cursor like normal, just with the magic trackpad. And I can do the same thing with the iPad. I can go back and forth between the two screens, which is super cool. So you can leave it just like this to move stuff back and forth. Like I could have ooh, Wakanda Forever trailer, cool. I could have YouTube Studio open on the computer, or I could, on the iPad, I could have Lightroom open, and which is awesome because even with Sidecar, you still have Apple Pencil support, so you can use the Apple Pencil in Sidecar or wireless device screen share, which is awesome. But we're going to take it another step further. So if you go back to the control center into that same display settings and display preferences, and then you go down here, display settings, click your iPad, and then you can have it used link with keyboard or mouse, or extend or mirror display. So then you click that, and just like that, your iPad now matches your display. And it works just like a normal monitor would on an iPad. You can open a window, you can move it back and forth between the two. It's not orientated right on the iPad just because it's a smaller screen. So it will fit it though. And then even when you, like with Google here, it still has the search to type URL like in PadOS. The whole screen thing, if you have a bigger iPad screen, it might work differently. And the thing about Sidecar too is that it is a time thing. So if you don't do anything on the screen for a certain amount of time, it will time out. So it'll be like, oh, it's disconnected, whatever. And then you can still use the magic trackpad on here. You can kind of see it there in the background. So you can use the magic trackpad, and then you can still use your Apple Pencil to interact with your iPad. So then again, you could still have your Lightroom open, your desktop version of Lightroom. Takes a minute. Maybe it won't work for us today. There it goes. You still have your desktop version of Lightroom on your iPad and still use the Apple Pencil, which I think is awesome because I love Lightroom editing, especially on my iPad because, oh, crap. Open that back up. So that's the thing too with Sidecar, is that when you have it in like the Sidecar mode, it works as an app, so you can still go back and forth between the PadOS UI. If you just close it like you would a normal app, it's right there. But as soon as you do that, it's disconnected from linking your keyboard and mouse to each other, so you have to like open it back up. But those are two different ways that you can use Sidecar. So now for the next thing that you would want to connect, you're going to want to connect your SSD of choice. Mine is still my Sandisk 500 gig Extreme SSD. And then we have our USB-C to C cable. And then just like that, our SSD is plugged in. And so there's multiple ways that you can do this. You can leave the SSD plugged into the MacBook, or you can unplug the SSD, the window, and put it into the iPad. You can do either or. It's completely up to you. I kind of like leaving it into the iPad and using that to kind of transfer files, because with the magic of Magsafe, you still have your two USB-C ports open on your MacBook. So you can take, if you want, you can take another USB-A adapter into your iPad, or you can just not have this one because you have the USB-A adapter on your iPad with the Hyperdrive. And then you can take your SD card reader, because even with this, neither of them have an SD card reader. You can plug it into your MacBook. You can plug it into your iPad, or you can leave everything plugged into the MacBook and just leave the iPad as kind of the monitoring device, just to be there so you can use the screen real estate to see what's going on. So you can have your files finder. There we go. So you can have like your files open on your iPad and look at everything, and you can have Lightroom open on your MacBook. I mean, if it stays on the MacBook, it went on that side because that's the last place I had it. So you can have your Lightroom open on your MacBook, or vice versa. You can have your Lightroom open, you can have your files on the MacBook, or you can have your Lightroom on the iPad, so you can still use your Apple Pencil and edit your photos, which is super neat. And then just the last thing you can put on there is you have your Anker MagSafe Go battery. So if you're using a newer iPhone with MagSafe in it, you can just pop the battery on there. So you are then charging your iPhone, but also what's cool about these batteries is that if you pull this little tab down, they have a little flip down stand. So if you're in the vibe, in the creating process, you don't want to be constantly looking at your phone. So there's multiple ways you can do it. You can just leave the phone there, just like so, and then you can see it, you can still tap it, interact with it. If you're all connected, you can even, your text may come up on your computer, but maybe you don't want your text or your Facebook messages or your FaceTimes, whatever, to come up on your computer because you're working. But you just leave your phone there where you can see it, still tap it, check in. Oh, look, dark sky, weather notification. That would be nice to know. Won't get that on your MacBook. So just like that. And then to top it all off, you use your AirPods, because you can then magically sync the audio to your phone if you get a phone call, your MacBook or iPad if you're listening to music. And so that's just the ways that I have made the perfect little portable Apple workstation. Now, before you say it, I realize this whole thing is kind of biased and assuming the fact that you're in the whole ecosystem of the Apple and Macs and iPhones and all that, because maybe you're not. Maybe you're against the monarchy, which is totally fine. Maybe you cross-platform, which is totally fine. This is just what I have, what I use, and what works for me. And so with the bag, the nice thing about it is you can have all that stuff in here, and you can have a little more room for some extra stuff. You have a little room for like a Nintendo Switch, because it's nice and flat. Or you have a little room for a pen and a notebook if you want to take physical notes. You have a little room for a deck of cards if you want. I've been into decks of cards lately. I got these two decks from a game store in Minnesota from Theory 11. These are really cool, but besides the point, you have a little room for it, and you can build your mobile setup however you want. This is just kind of a basis. This is a baseline of, this is some stuff that works well, and then you can either choose to use it or you can do something entirely different. But that's up to you. So that's all I have for this video. I will try to link everything that I've used in the description below so you can check it out. If you guys have a mobile setup that you use that works great, let me know. I want to know what you guys are using. Again, huge shout out to all of you who have subscribed. We've made it to 100 subscribers, and I'm not going to stop until we make it all the way to the top. So that's been it. I hope you all are staying safe out there, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out, guys.